We've got some very juicy SpaceX details to get to shortly, but first, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a sampling of how the Elon Musk versus OpenAI trial is being covered in both the mainstream media as well as via very large independent podcasts. First, the PBD pod.
Saying they betrayed him and the public by abandoning OpenAI's mission to be a benevolent steward of AI for humanity and transforming the nonprofit into a profit-seeking juggernaut. If we make it okay to loot a charity, the entire foundation of charitable giving in America will be destroyed. Musk testified on the first day of trial. That's my concern. Musk, who founded automaker Tesla and rocket company SpaceX, characterized OpenAI as brainchild as well. I came up with the idea, the name, recruited the key people, taught them everything I know, provided all of the initial funding. It was specifically meant to be for a charity that does not benefit any individual person. I could have started it as a for-profit and specifically chose not to before Musk began testifying. William Savage, a lawyer for OpenAI and Altman, told...
Just quickly want to jump in here. All the stuff that Musk said, the founding principles, the fact that he funded it, that he could have funded a for-profit instead, but intentionally chose not to. This was really important. All true.
Jurors during his opening statement, it was Musk who saw dollar signs as he helped finance OpenAI early growth and pushed it to become a for-profit, one he might eventually lead as a CEO. Savage said Musk wanted the keys to the kingdom and sued only after he failed. In 2023, he started his own AI business, XAI, and now part of SpaceX. What he cares about is Elon Musk being on top, Savage said. We are here because Mr. Musk didn't get his way.
As discussed earlier this week when these comments, the opening statements actually first came to light, you know you're cooked when your defense is to completely ignore the merits of the case and Musk's accurate claims that he primarily funded the company, recruited talent, its founding principles to be a not-for-profit. He refused equity, and we've got documentation via discovery that confirms this. When your opening argument is to try and portray Elon Musk as a petulant child who just didn't get his way and got mad and now he's suing because he didn't get his way, as opposed to somebody who was a primary funder of, recruiter for, a charitable organization, a not-for-profit, whose purpose was to be for the benefit of humanity, as shown in yesterday's video. Discovery has shown that while Musk was funding this not-for-profit, behind the scenes, key people, including Greg Brockman, named in this lawsuit, were scheming about flipping it into a for-profit entity while simultaneously acknowledging that doing so felt bad, and if they were to continue to give Elon Musk the impression that they were all on board with being a not-for-profit while having decided privately that they want to become a for-profit and saying kind of feels not really good to be deceiving him, and if we don't tell him and we're not transparent about wanting to flip to a for-profit, we will in effect have lied to him, and if he says we lied to him, he will in fact be correct. It's amazing how weak the case is from OpenAI, that their opening statement is to completely skirt around the core issues of deception here, the flipping to a for-profit, the fact that Musk was swindled, to try and attack Musk's character. That said, given the fact that this is in California and they have a jury full of Californians who, in general, if you surveyed most people in the great state of California, you will discover that most of them would respond Elon bad because, well, it's a left-hearted bubble. This strategy may actually be effective in swaying some of the opinions of the jurors because they already know Elon bad and here's more proof that Elon bad. But a much more powerful way to persuade the jury would be to debunk all of Musk's claims. Problem is they can't. So instead they just ignore them and try and go after Musk instead.
Jeff.
Who the hell knows? I mean, it's a he said, she said. And unfortunately, you can see both sides have arguments because, I mean, Elon does come across as some guy who always has to be on top, and maybe that's a true story. And then his point of view, you could also see that as potentially being the issue there. But I think the broader issue is more really about who gets to control where this is going. I think it's really about not necessarily who benefits, but who's going to be on top as the wave continues to move. And honestly, I have no idea which story to believe in.
John.
I just don't understand why people are not acknowledging the core point of this case is, can you steal a charity? Can you swindle somebody into financing a not-for-profit, then flip it behind their back while scheming about doing so and knowing that it's not right to personally enrich yourselves? Can you do that? If these folks had actually read the discovery, which again I covered yesterday, it doesn't get more clear or more damning for OpenAI to have privately been discussing the fact that they were, in essence, intentionally deceiving Musk, intending on creating a for-profit entity, acknowledging that they didn't feel good about doing this, acknowledging that if they didn't tell Musk and weren't upfront about it, that in the future he could say they deceived him and he would be telling the truth and that would be accurate, and also to be retarded enough to have written all this down. Holy fuck, dude. That's the core issue at stake here. It's not about Musk getting his way or being on top or controlling AI. It's can you fuck somebody without their consent while scheming privately about knowing that what you're doing is not right. Anyway, enough of the PBD podcast. Let's get on to some of the mainstream media. Over to CNBS.
We are 1 week into the high-profile trial between Elon Musk and OpenAI. Here's where things stand. Elon Musk, the world's richest man, was a co-founder of OpenAI. He and the now CEO, Sam Altman.
Is it just me, or does anyone else find it extremely grating that Musk is always referred to as the world's richest man? Who cares? The only reason people say that, of course, is because we all know that billionaire bad, soon to be trillionaire bad. And since Elon is the biggest billionaire, he is therefore the biggest bad. A more accurate and reasonable way to refer to Musk would just be MVP of Earth. He has created the most value, so most valuable player seems more fitting than the world's richest man. But of course, people who hate themselves and their lot in life and would rather attack somebody and hate on them than look inward and improve their own situation aren't going to get so triggered if you call him MVP. Much better to call him the world's richest man.
Were friends a decade ago, and both were in the Oakland courthouse this week as we started to get two sides to this story. At the heart of this case, whether Altman betrayed OpenAI's founding promise to build the company as a non-profit, quote, for the benefit of all humanity.
Okay, this is great. Credit where it is due. CNBS have actually addressed the core issue at stake. This is a rare W for CNBS, so I've got to give them all the credit. There might be a but coming soon, but so far so good. I'm impressed.
Musk accuses Altman and President Greg Brockman of tricking him, using his funding and prestige to build an $800 billion company they now allegedly profit from personally. The lawsuit has been whittled down to two claims: breach of charitable trust and unjust enrichment. Here's what we heard inside the courtroom. Musk on the stand this week claimed that they stole a charity and said its current structure with a lucrative for-profit and multi-billion-dollar investment from Microsoft violate that original mission. He also took credit for building OpenAI from the ground up, saying that he could have started a for-profit company but chose not to. Quote, I came up with the idea, the name, recruited the key people, taught them everything I know, and provided all of the initial funding. Musk said safety was paramount in those early days, telling the court he wanted OpenAI to make society look more like Star Trek than the Terminator. Google was also a central player in this case. Musk said the reason OpenAI exists is because Google was dominating the AI space after acquiring DeepMind. He said he was motivated by his perception that Larry Page, Google's co-founder...
I noticed that when naming Larry Page, they actually showed an image on screen now of Sergey Brin, Google's other co-founder. That's awkward. I mean, look, we all make mistakes, but that's pretty funny. By the way, Brin, on screen now, recently came out of the closet, the California equivalent, which is supporting Trump. So just to be clear, Musk had a conversation not with Sergey Brin on screen now, but Larry Page, which caused him great concern.
Was not concerned about AI safety. Page, according to Musk, accused him of being too pro-human, also known as speciesist. Musk pointed to one moment as the turning point when OpenAI removed its internal profit caps and then accepted a $10 billion investment from Microsoft. That, Musk says, is when they, quote, stole the charity. Things in court got combative. Musk accused the opposing counsel of lying and misleading the jury. William Savitt, the lawyer for OpenAI, repeatedly told Musk to just answer the simple yes or no questions. Musk fired back with, your questions are not simple. They're designed to trick me.
So, again, so far, it's been relatively reasonable coverage from CNBS. But I've got a sneaking suspicion they're not going to actually use the hammer blow quote here from Musk. The lawyer was intentionally tricking him. This is what lawyers tend to do, at least if they're earning their keep. Trying to force Musk into yes or no answers to questions that do not have simple yes or no answers. The quote that Musk pointed out, your questions are not simple, they are designed to trick me, essentially, is also what Musk said. But he used the specific example, are you going to stop beating your wife, yes or no? A very clear example of what a deceptive and misleading question is. There is no right or wrong answer to that. There is no yes or no answer, because assuming you're not beating your wife, if you answer no, that indicates that you've continued to beat your wife, you've been beating your wife, and you won't stop beating your wife. If you answer yes, that's a tacit admission that you've previously been beating your wife. So this was a very important point for Musk, just to illustrate the deceptive tactics and the dishonest questioning. I don't think CNBS will have the courage to actually share that quote, but it was very important.
OpenAI has tried to poke holes in Musk's narrative. Their defense boils down to Musk's attempts to control the AI company. Altman's lawyers argue that Musk knew about and at times supported a for-profit structure and is now using the courts to attack a rival while building his own competing AI company, xAI. Musk is seeking $134 billion in damages, which he says he'll donate to the OpenAI charity if he wins. He wants Altman and Brockman removed from leadership. Plus, he's seeking to unwind OpenAI's recent restructuring. All of these moves could throw a wrench in the company's highly anticipated IPO. The trial has an advisory jury, which means Judge Gonzalez-Rogers will make the final call on both liability and remedies. Still to come, we are expecting to hear from Sam Altman, Greg Brockman, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, and some key early OpenAI employees over the next 2 weeks.
Bro, I've got to say, it's going to be absolutely fucking amazing when Greg's giving testimony. The same guy who wrote in what he thought was a private journal or diary or whatever the fuck you want to call it, which we covered recently, about his feelings on deceiving Musk. Overall, this was actually pretty reasonable coverage from CNBC. I'm pretty impressed. Now, as promised, some alleged details have leaked. SpaceX required to do some filing of documents prior to the IPO, so take these with a grain of salt. Somebody could have made these up, or they could be literally what's in the document. You folks will mostly recall Musk's 2018 and 2025 Tesla CEO Performance Award, some truly audacious goals, including market capitalization and operational milestones. Well, guess fucking what? Apparently, SpaceX has similar. And check this out. There's a market capitalization goal of $7.5 trillion. Not just a one-off, but needs to be sustained at that level. Fancy that. Almost identical to Tesla's longer-term market cap goal, also tied to Musk's compensation at Tesla. In addition to this, you can't just hit a $7.5 trillion market cap. In addition to this, the operational milestone requires SpaceX establishing a permanent human settlement on Mars with at least 1 million inhabitants. Now, Grok has summarized this and used the word people. It did say inhabitants, but it is also described as a human colony. The only reason I mention that is whether or not you could game the system by having 990,000 Optimus humanoid robots inhabiting the colony and just 10,000 humans. As Grok adds, permanent implies it's self-sustaining. There's also an additional tranche here, separate to the market cap and 1 million strong settlement on Mars. These are tranches on the way to the $7.5 trillion market cap and other operational milestones along the way to the Mars colony, although technically you could achieve the Mars colony first, I guess, relate to orbital data centers, the AI satellites, ultimately delivering at least 100 terawatts of compute capacity. Utterly insane in both scale and ambition. This motherfucker is aiming, according to the alleged details that were in their filings, a legit, permanent, self-sustaining colony with 1 million inhabitants on Mars, a fuck ton of AI data centers in space, and a sustained $7.5 trillion market capitalization or more. If you happen to be new around here, I'd just like to remind everybody that the last time a massive carrot was dangled in front of Musk in the form of a CEO Performance Award over the long term, which was 2018, Tesla's CEO Performance Award back then. The entire world laughed at the audacity, the impossibility of the goals outlined, and of course, the next minute, Musk speed runs the whole thing. Tesla goes up more than 10 times, phenomenal growth, incredible execution. The guy hit it out of the park with years to spare. So if these goals sound utterly ridiculous and absurd, which, by the way, they are, that does not separately mean they are impossible to achieve, nor does this mean that Musk ain't aiming for these. Talk about putting your money where your mouth is. A permanent human colony with at least 1 million inhabitants on Mars. Oh, and a mere 100 terawatts of orbital compute capacity. Bro, want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 has been part of my daily health protocol for almost half a decade. It's packed full of vitamins and minerals and helps me fill in nutritional gaps while supporting energy, digestion, and immune function. It also has prebiotics and probiotics to promote gut health. I take my health very seriously, and so should you. Try AG1 today by visiting drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment and enjoy a free welcome kit with vitamin D3 plus K2 and AG1 travel packs. That's drinkag1.com/SMR.